USC stands for University of Spoiled Children.
It's the rivalry match of the season, and the Irish are out for blood.
It's got to be that type of mindset. This got to be a physical, bloody game.
He's in trouble, and he goes down. Boubacar Traore.
A dogfight for the ages. Notre Dame, USC, in the latest and possibly last chapter of this century-old grudge match.
We got to continue to focus on what's important. That's the preparation.
I'm going to go out there, execute, and just do the most I can.
Touchdown! KK Smith brings it in, and the Irish extend the lead.
Fresh off their fourth straight win and defensive domination, the blue and gold aren't done yet.
It's no secret formula. As we continue to say, is the answers lies in the work.
Facing a must-win against their arch nemesis in the house that Rockne built.
It's something you mark on your calendar every year to make sure that you're ready for USC.
Tell Southern Cal to bring a damn lunch because it's going to be a long-ass day for him.
This is ABC57 Kickoff, presented by Afdent Dental, live from the campus of Notre Dame, with your host, Vahid Sadrazadeh.
High atop the Golden Dome at the University of Notre Dame, it is rivalry week right here in South Bend. A rainy October day, or what looks to be clouds moving in, weather impending, the latest and quite possibly the very last time the 20th ranked USC Trojans will challenge the 13th ranked Fighting Irish, a series that has spanned almost a century. I am Vahid Sadrazadeh. This is ABC 57 Kickoff. As you may notice, we have moved inside Purcell Pavilion this week. It is windy out there. Storms are pending. Conditions are going to get nasty. It's USC and Notre Dame this week. All eyes are on the matchup, and all eyes are on this program right here. What could be the final time between the century-old rivalry and the program that you're seeing right here. Get your hands on it, because it could be the very last one. Every game is a must-win for the Fighting Irish and the Blue and Gold. Tonight's game could end up being a washout. We have a jam-packed show for you today, as we do every weekend. ABC 57 Kickoff reporter Talia Baya joins us in just a few minutes with a look back at the deep history and tradition surrounding the rivalry with USC, and yes, her own experience growing up as a Trojans fan. And what was once a school known for its hoops program is catching eyes on the football field for the second consecutive year. ABC 57's Dante Stanton is on standby with a look at the Hoosiers season so far. But first, we check in with ABC 57 First Warning neighborhood weather meteorologist Dave Caulfield. He joins us live from Eddy Street, tracking all the conditions for us. Dave, you're still dry, my friend, so what is going on with our weather?
Yeah, so the rain has decided to sleep in this morning. That's good news for tailgaters right now. And outside here, Eddy Street Commons, people are happy. They're getting their pregame traditions in. But will the nastiness of the weather match the nastiness of the rivalry? That is possible as we head later in the day and closer to game time. So let's take a look at radar right now. We do have some thunderstorms off over Lake Michigan trying to make their way in to Michiana, but unsuccessful so far. Not enough strength to them, so they're sort of fizzling over the lake. We have noticed that the wind has really picked up over the last hour or so. When we first got here a few hours ago, it was a beautiful fall morning, but that has changed a little bit. That wind has definitely started to pick up, and that is because of the front that is nearby. There's also a few showers off to the southwest, which could try to make a run at Michiana and South Bend close to the stadium over the next 2 hours or so. So tailgaters definitely should have the radar ready to go throughout the day. There might be periods of showers over the course of the next few hours, and temperatures will likely be in the 60s and 70s today. So temperature-wise, not too bad, but again, we're going to have to fight those splash and dash showers and potentially thunderstorms. We don't want another lightning delay. I know that is true for everyone, no matter who you are rooting for, but it is possible as we head closer to game time that a few thunderstorms are close enough, which could cause a delay, and the rain looking more likely for the second half of the game tonight. But rain in the series between Notre Dame and USC, not necessarily a bad thing. And we are hoping that it doesn't rain so much that it affects the game a lot, but it maybe affects the Trojans, where they're not ready to leave their paradise of Southern California weather and deal with a South Bend fall day, which definitely could be the case as we head later in the day. Vahid?
Well, Dave, that is the absolute stat of the week. I know you came up with that. The 10-0, Notre Dame, obviously the clear advantage when it comes to rain and these two teams playing. Here's another stat for you. Ready for this, Dave? Apparently, and we heard it on Twitter this morning, apparently Jaden Maeva, who's the quarterback of USC, has never played a game in the rain before. So obviously Notre Dame has a clear advantage in this one. Wind could play a factor here, as it could be a tight game, kicking game. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the wind, as I mentioned, is picking up this morning, and so what is going to happen, Vahid, is we actually have 2 rounds of potential rain and thunderstorms. That first round, when the cold front comes through, that will likely happen before the game, but that could kick up winds, and then there might be a little bit of a lull, and then the wind will really pick up tomorrow morning, and potentially towards the second half, it could be much windier and nastier weather compared to the first half. So hopefully Notre Dame starts efficiently, gets all their scoring out of the way. It's 35-0, and then we can just deal with the weather if it decides to arrive in the second half. Live outside Eddy Street Commons, meteorologist Dave Caulfield for ABC 57 Kickoff.
We just want to win, whether it's JD and J Love carrying it 100 times a game, and we're going to spread the field out and throw it all over the yard.
The emphasis this week was just to play our ball, play violent, and just play as one.
We're out there having fun, and it's fun when you're doing your job, and the coaches trust you to make plays.
CJ placed the dot, couldn't have been thrown any better.
A pretty good performance on both sides of the ball for the Irish last week, marking their 4th straight win. It feels like it was all in preparation for tonight. Obviously, this game circled for a while this season, the possibility being the last rivalry game in the university's 100-year tradition. Both sides are hungry to walk away with the final word. An elimination game for Notre Dame, and it could be a statement win for USC on the other side of it. When it comes to college football, though, there are no trophies more fun, more interesting than the Jeweled Shillelagh. Take a look at this. A Gaelic war club presented to the victor of the annual grudge match by the Notre Dame Club of Los Angeles. The Shillelagh first presented back in the 1950s, covered with emerald-studded shamrocks representing Irish wins, ruby-encrusted Trojan heads for USC wins. And this is actually the second Jeweled Shillelagh. The first iteration of it ran out of space after Notre Dame's victory over the Trojans back in 1989. A testament to just how long the series has continued. Well, tonight's game marks the 96th all-time meeting between Notre Dame and USC. The Irish holding the edge in the series, 52 wins to USC's 38, 5 ties over that almost 100-year-old tradition, and now it may all come to an end if an extension isn't reached between the two sides. But how did we get here in the first place? ABC 57 kickoff reporter Talia Baya joins us live now with a look back across the decades at one of the most intense rivalries in college sports. Talia?
Hey, Vahid, yes, I know this rivalry all too well. Both my parents actually graduated from USC in 1981, and then my mom in 1985. My uncles went there, my grandpa went there. I even had a Reggie Bush poster on my wall growing up. But here in South Bend, I know it's more than football. It's about legacy, pride, and glory. So I broke down just why it's so important. Take a listen. One of the most iconic rivalries in college football, dating back to 1926. The Holy War, nearly a century of bad blood between the two college football powers.
People before that played really well in this game are legends, so it's like, this is one of the biggest games of our season, their season.
The Irish taking the last two meetings, leading the all-time series 52-37 with 5 ties.
It is a big game. Grew up watching this game, and it's an honor to be here. So it's one of the best rivalries in all of sports.
A deeper look at the top legacy games between the Fighting Irish and the Trojans ahead of their 96th meeting. A constant, long-lasting battle.
We've got to get bloody. It's got to be that type of mindset. This got to be a physical, bloody game.
Some may say the best game? The Bush Push. In 2005, number 1 USC edging number 9 Notre Dame, 34-31. Or maybe it was in 1977, the Green Jersey game, led by Joe Montana, a 49-17 beatdown as the Irish went on to win their 10th national championship that season. Or 1988, a true showdown, when number 1 Notre Dame took down number 2 USC at the Coliseum.
He's going to score, touchdown, no flags, Notre Dame.
A history filled with upsets.
Intercepted. And touchdown.
And statement wins. The only years these teams didn't play, World War II and the pandemic. Will this season's matchup be the end of an era?
I think it's a shame. I think across college football right now, all too often, a lot of the people making decisions forget the things that make the sport special.
With media right conflicts and contract and schedule issues, the future of this rivalry remains uncertain.
There's so much history and tradition, so at some point you got to look at that and think about how cool that is. When you get to Notre Dame, the biggest game of the year is circled on the calendar. It's against USC.
Who will take home what could be the final Jewel Chilele? Saturday night, the culmination of a century-long series full of pride, legacy, and glory. It's USC versus Notre Dame in the house that Rockne built. Yeah, so I've actually been to 10 plus games, and I was there at the Bush Push when number 1 USC took down number 9 Notre Dame 34-31.
So you showed me some pictures earlier in the week of a young Talia Baya with some gear. So walk us through what we're seeing here. That's your dad?
Yep, that's my dad. I was just through and through a USC fan. Look at that. We would go to USC parties, games. We had season tickets. That's me as a baby right there with the little hat on. How cute. Of course, my uncles went there as well. So it just runs in the family. There's my dad again.
Okay, so I have a big question. So you're a huge USC fan growing up. Now you're at Notre Dame.
Oh, yes.
They don't like each other very much. So how do you switch allegiances, Talia, so quickly?
Well, I actually almost went to USC. Fun fact, I was this close, but I wanted SEC football. I picked Florida.
Okay.
So I feel like when you didn't go to school there, it was like, I didn't have like that, I guess you could say, loyalty to them.
Okay.
My mom, on the other hand, who's going to be joining us soon, does. So she's rooting USC.
Listen, I learned this much.
Yeah. Oh, my mom won't like that one.
Well, we'll see. We'll talk to her later. Thank you so much. Great story on the look back. Coming up, we've got so much more here on ABC 57 Kickoff, including the new Leprechaun logo, the new one that just got released for hockey, didn't look anything like the old one, and Clashmore Mike, which was pre-1960. We're going to take a look back at the logo's history over time. Plus, how about the Hoosiers coming in at number 3 in the nation? And on the mend, who is injured? Who is out this week? Plus, our favorite, Kathleen Kiefer. She is from Southern California as well, but guess what? Her grandfather played in the very first game between Notre Dame and USC in 1926, and look at her go right there. So lucky to have her on the show. We'll talk to her as well. That's all coming up on ABC 57 Kickoff today.
Haley stands in the shotgun with 5 receivers, 3 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Claps for the football and takes the snap on 2nd and 5. Looking left, now looking right. He's in trouble, and he goes down. Boubacar Traore sacks him back to the 14-yard line.
That is the Notre Dame Radio Network defensive lineman Boubacar Traore balling out last week against NC State. 4 total tackles, 2 sacks as the Irish beat the Wolfpack 36-7 at Notre Dame Stadium. Well, in addition to Traore's performance, the defense held NC State to just 7 points. Linebacker Drake Bowen, he brings the energy. He led the D-line, and all players with 7 tackles. It was a prime example of the physical football that head coach Marcus Freeman wants to play tonight against USC.
Got to play with clarity, and we got to go play hard. This game's going to be about velocity, all right? And you know, I often say we got to get bloody. Like, it's got to be that type of mindset. This got to be a physical, bloody game that isn't about, you know, how can we outsmart them. This is going to be how do we out-physical this group.
Well, the way the Irish played defense the last 3 games, we can be sure to see a lot of pressure on quarterback Jaden Maeva. And tonight, Notre Dame's defense, Notre Dame Stadium is sure to be packed with Irish fans, many of them wearing, of course, the iconic Notre Dame Fighting Irishmen. But what many don't realize, one of the most recognizable mascots in college sports traces back to the work of one local artist. Take a look.
When my dad came to games here, I wondered, did he get to sit in the box?
Jackie Friend last stepped foot in Notre Dame Stadium as a teenager in the 1960s.
To come here and just be surrounded by the sense of the leprechaun and the Fighting Irish, it's pretty overwhelming. I am absolutely thrilled for my father because during his lifetime, he didn't have the recognition.
The father that she so fondly speaks of.
Nobody knew who Ted Drake was.
Ted Drake was born in Bremen, Indiana, and graduated from Elkhart High School in 1927. With a passion for commercial art, Drake went back to Elkhart after enlisting in the military during World War II.
After the Navy, he worked for Wilson Sporting Goods in Chicago, doing advertisements for them. In the early 1960s, the University of Notre Dame was looking to rebrand or change their logo from the Terrier Clashmore into a new logo that was more representative of the Irish heritage.
Apparently, as a young child, he liked to draw leprechauns. So that was something that he had done for many years.
So the university turned to the local artist for help.
The idea was that it was to be used one time on those little cards that they give out that list the games for the season. And that's all it was going to be used for. Paid $50, and then it just exploded.
In 1964, the world took notice when the leprechaun graced the cover of Time magazine with head coach Ara Parsegian. More than 50 years later, the leprechaun is one of the most recognizable mascots and logos.
You do see it all over, and I just wander over to people and say, "Hi." My dad did that.
Ted Drake did draw the Fighting Irishman logo, but he also worked on football program covers for Notre Dame, as well as doing paintings of the Four Horsemen of Notre Dame.
Now, nearly 2 decades after her father's death, Jackie Friend finds herself perusing a once familiar path.
He was so good.
A half-century has passed since she walked these concrete concourses with her dad.
It's one more piece of my dad's life.
Those program covers now hanging. Ted Drake's work once again on display for the world and his daughter to see.
He was a very funny man. He was incredibly talented, and he loved what he did.
What would the conversation be like between you and him if you were here to see this?
First thing that goes through my mind is, you did it. You did it. There is the recognition. You did it. And I'm so glad that I could do that for him. I love you, Ted.
Well, and to think it all started back in the 1960s, and before the 1960s, Clashmore Mike, which I absolutely is a personal favorite of mine. But Molly is holding up the very latest logo that they just released this week, actually 2 days ago. This is the hockey logo. Of course, there's a football logo, and also coming out probably basketball and fencing. Which one do you like? What's your favorite?
Well, at first I didn't like the football one. I'm a person of tradition, to be honest, so I was like, what's up with all this hoopla? But honestly, I gotta say, I like the hockey one. It just kind of flows, so I'm a fan. I'm curious to see how they're gonna do it for the other sports, though.
This shouldn't be a permanent thing, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like, it's a couple-year thing, and maybe they change it out. I'm a traditionalist as well as you are. I love the Leprechaun logo from the 1960s and beyond. I love Clashmore Mike. I like just changing it up. I like tradition that Notre Dame does in general. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I love this logo too. All good, all selling in the bookstore, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure of it. But you know what they say, don't fix what's not broke. And I gotta agree with it for this. So should be temporary, in my opinion.
We're going to be right back on ABC 57 Kickoff with a look at the Hoosiers football season. It's not just Notre Dame that's on a hot streak right now in the world of college football. We've got another top 25 team in Indiana. The Hoosiers are undefeated this season, and since that loss to Notre Dame in the first ever college football playoff game back in December here on home turf, they have dismantled every team in their path, including Oregon last week. ABC 57's Dante Stanton caught up with IU fans from throughout Michiana, live on campus of the IU South Bend campus right now. Dante, the Hoosiers haven't played yet this week, but they're already making headlines.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Vahid. We just got the news on Thursday. IU head coach Curt Cignetti dispelling those nasty rumors of potentially leaving for the Penn State job and instead signing an 8-year contract extension worth more than $11.5 million per season. Fans just as excited about locking up him for the next 8 years as they were about their historic win this past Saturday.
Well, I'm just really glad that Curt Cignetti has came to Indiana because, when you come from a team that has the most losses in college football to a team that just knocked off a top 5 team, it feels pretty good.
The fan you just heard from is right. IU is the losingest program in the history of college football, making last season's 11-win turnaround easily the most impressive in school history. While the offense has its weapons with top-flight quarterback Fernando Mendoza, the single-season success from the Hoosiers mostly falls on Cignetti, who's been coaching football since graduating from West Virginia back in 1983. He backs up his 40-plus years of coaching experience with his now famous quote, "I win, Google me." And so far, he's proven himself right with a record of 17-2 and less than 2 full seasons. And, of course, that 6-0 start to this year. On top of the Oregon win last week, IU fans have plenty to be excited about. I interviewed 5 Hoosier fans this week, 3 of which were also fans of the Fighting Irish. I asked them all one very simple question. If IU were to take on Notre Dame again this year in the college football playoffs, so maybe a rematch down the line here, who would come out on top this time in a hypothetical matchup? All 5, including the ones who are also Irish fans, said we'd have a different outcome this time and that IU would beat Notre Dame. Vahid, I really call this the Curt Cignetti effect. He has come in and he has turned this program around, again, in less than 2 full seasons.
Well, and he's turned around every program that he's been a part of. James Madison, you go back, he's turned around every single program. And obviously this is a direct result, Dante, of the fallout from what happened at Penn State last week with James Franklin being let go. And so you're thinking, hey, Cignetti is a big name in that search, but with IU locking him up for that $11.6 million a year for 8 years, you would think that he's going to stay now for the long term. Hoosier fans very excited. And let's go back, because what you just said is very important. IU fan thinks it's going to be a different outcome this year. The game, it may be, you may have the same matchup in the postseason. The game may be in IU this time because Notre Dame probably won't get that home game matchup. You know, what do they think about, you talk to fans, what do they think about taking the game back to IU this year?
I think you'd get a lot of IUSB students, where I'm at right now, headed down to Bloomington. I think you'd get them from all across the IU campuses, across the state of Indiana. I think you would get an insane amount of people coming in from all throughout the state, going down to Bloomington and being down there at Memorial Stadium and just bringing that place alive. I've been to an IU game before. It's already an electric atmosphere. And the fans here on IUSB's campus, they even said here at IU South Bend, where they're technically the Titans, you know, it's a completely different atmosphere. Everybody on this campus is talking about IU football. The amount of fans we would see come from South Bend down to Bloomington for that game, not just Notre Dame fans, but IU fans too, would, we'd have to check the seismograph. It would be earthquake levels down there.
Well, thanks so much. Dante Stan, we'll check in back with you next hour here on ABC 57 Kickoff. Indy Hoops trying to, really get back to the postseason this year. Preseason ranked number 15 in the country. We had a chance to catch up with head coach Niele Ivey, entering her 5th season at the helm.
Obviously, we have a new group, so a lot of new faces. This has been an incredible last couple weeks, just growing, chemistry, getting better. This is a group that I feel like just defensively we're gonna hang our hat on, our identity. We've really been focusing on our defense.
Well, less than 2 weeks now to the first Notre Dame women's basketball game of the new season. Coach Ivey's squad ranked, as I mentioned, 15th in the preseason AP poll, and bringing back the ACC Player of the Year, Hannah Hidalgo, who averaged nearly 24 points per game last year. The first exhibition game for the Fighting Irish women's basketball team is coming up on Thursday, October 30th, when they take on Purdue Northwest. By the way, the men's basketball team played in an exhibition game last night at Butler and won 77-76. We'll be right back. We are back on ABC 57 Kickoff, and you are taking a live look here at Kathleen Kiefer. She lives 45 minutes from the LA Coliseum in Los Angeles. Her daughter went to USC Film School, but don't make any mistakes about it. She has that Rockney uniform on. She went to Notre Dame. Her grandfather graduated from Notre Dame, played in the very first USC Notre Dame matchup in 1926. We'll be talking to her here in just a few minutes on ABC 57 Kickoff. Well, Fighting Irish football is back for another week as they take on their century-old rival, the USC Trojans. And really, USC coming out of last week feeling confident, beating their arch nemesis, Michigan, in a grudge match in the Big House last week by a final score of 31-13. So don't think USC is going to push, just flop over for Notre Dame. They're going to get physical today. They want to be physical. and we're talking about USC's season on the line as well as Notre Dame, so it's going to be a big matchup. Let's check in with ABC 57 kickoff reporter Talia Baya. Talia, USC coming off that big-time win against Michigan last week, and so we can expect a big-time game today at Notre Dame Stadium.
Hey, Vahid, yes, this will be a big test for both sides of the ball. Notre Dame hasn't even opponent in 3 straight games, and USC is now coming in top 3 in total scoring and passing. However, the Irish have been rolling, and it starts with young freshman quarterback CJ Carr. Carr has thrown for over 1,600 yards and 13 touchdowns, ranking among the nation's top 20 passing attacks. Just last week, he dropped 342 yards and 2 scores, proving he's getting more confident.
We just want to win, and however that, comes about is what we want.
I've never seen a quarterback see the field the way CJ does. I don't want to compare him to other quarterbacks, but I've never seen something like that before.
Senior tight end Eli Reardon has emerged as a key vertical threat, hauling in over 340 yards this year, including a career-high 109 last week.
He's a guy who we can go to consistently, and we trust to make plays when the ball comes his way.
Out wide, Will Pauling and Jordan Faison have been Carr's go-to guys. Pauling broke out against NC State with 105 and a touchdown.
Takes the snap, looks, throws, Pauling catches at the 2 for the goal line. He's in! Touchdown, Notre Dame!
He's just a source of energy for the offense, and when he's hot, the offense is hot, and it's hard to stop him, really.
Now in the backfield, it's that dynamic duo, Jeremiah Love and Jadarin Price. Love leads the team with 530 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns.
Down for the goal line, he's in! Touchdown, Notre Dame! Jeremiah Love!
On the other side of the ball, linebacker Drake Bowen and safety Adon Schuler are leading the charge for the defense.
There's no gray at all. It's black and white.
Bowen has picked up over 30 tackles, while Schuler is the lockdown safety, already notching 15 solo tackles.
You can see we're out there having fun, and it's fun when you doing your job, and the coaches trust you to make plays.
The defense as a whole has allowed just around 350 yards per game, holding opponents to barely 5 yards per play.
We stayed consistent. We didn't change anything. There was nothing magical to what we had to do or what we did.
A lot of thanks to Boubacar Traore, racking up 5.5 sacks so far this season.
And he goes down! Boubacar Traore!
This group has been aggressive too, forcing 11 takeaways so far this year. Now, it's a big test. USC.
It's just a game that's going to be won in the trenches. 60 minutes of football.
So, Vahid, check this stat out. The offense is averaging over 465 yards per game, and they're completing 68% of their passes, ranking them 25th nationally. So they're not just a run-heavy team. They're also balanced in the air.
I'm a little worried, honestly. We're talking straight up offense, defense, Notre Dame versus USC. If we're taking a look at the USC offense on the flip side of the ball, USC ranks in the top 10 nearly in every category. Over 500 yards a game coming into this matchup, beating down Michigan on the road. Notre Dame's defense better start fast. And if they don't, they could be in trouble.
100%. That's the biggest thing he emphasized. And coming up in Freeman's focus, it was starting fast and that short yardage problem they're having. Yeah. I know we're going to talk a little bit more about stats further on in the show, but those two things they need to do.
They need to have it on lockdown. And guess who has a painting of Notre Dame Stadium on lockdown? It is Kathleen Kiefer. Kathleen, this is an hour.
Wow.
It looks amazing. We're going to check in with Kathleen here throughout the show, and we're going to talk to her in just a few minutes. Stay with us on ABC 57 Kickoff.
Take the snap. Here comes the pressure. They pick it up. Carr firing. End zone. Touchdown. K.K. Smith brings it in, and the Irish extend the lead.
On the Notre Dame radio network, K.K. Smith and the Irish offense finding their groove in the second half against the NC State Wolfpack last week. During Week 7, that was sophomore receiver, again, K.K. Smith with his first ever career touchdown. The offense put up 36 points. The defense was doing a pretty good job managing to hold back the last two games, just one score each for opposing teams, picking up 3 interceptions against the Wolfpack. No doubt the Irish are finding their groove, finding their identity, but they're having to do it without some key players. It's time to take a look at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish injury report for this week. Junior offensive lineman Ashton Craig, he is out. Another season-ending knee injury. Just last season, Craig missed the final 13 games of the season after suffering an ACL tear in that same knee. He now joins fellow offensive lineman Charles Jagusaw and wide receiver Micah Gilbert on the sidelines tonight. However, both are expected to return later this season. Without Craig on the O-line, sophomore Joe Otting will make his first career start. 6'4", 308-pound center from Topeka, Kansas, listed at the top of the depth chart for this week's game, and will hopefully maintain the protection and keep the pressure off quarterback C.J. Carr like we've seen from the O-line these past few weeks.
He's been ready to go, and knowing if in case that Ashton got hurt. Now all those things are great, but you got to go out and do it in the game. And he's had some in-game experience, but this will be his first time starting, and we, like any first time, there's always going to be some ups and downs, but we are very confident in what he can do and what he's being asked to do, and he's going to do a good job when he gets in there.
Well, the irony here is that the Notre Dame offensive line has just been named to the Joe Moore Award watch list mid-season, so we'll see how they play. Another major blow to the defensive line the Irish will take to the field without senior defensive tackle Gabe Rubio. He's ruled out late in the week with a reported elbow injury. The 6'5" senior defensive tackle has been a key component to the defense. 13 tackles so far on the season. Defensive lineman and key special teams player Logan Thomas is out this week as well. Thomas is in concussion protocol after taking a big hit during practice earlier this week. He currently leads the Irish with 101 plays on special teams. And possibly for a third straight week, Jaden Greathouse, wide receiver, he may be out. He was out the last 2 games after suffering a thigh injury during practice before Boise State. He is currently listed as questionable, could make his return tonight against the Trojans. Will Pauling has been in the slot in the meantime, filling in, and he's been doing a fantastic job. Also on the injury watch list, cornerback Devonta Smith, the Alabama transfer, missed last weekend's game with a right calf injury, and that comes after he was sidelined during both games against Purdue and Texas A&M with separate issues. Freshman Dallas Golden has taken the snaps while Smith has been out. Some other Irish players on the men this week include tight end Cooper Flanagan. They're hoping he can return after an Achilles injury during last season's Sugar Bowl. Freshman offensive lineman Will Black remains questionable tonight's game with a concussion. He also missed last week's game against NC State. We'll have to wait and see if they return to action come game time. And if Cooper Flanagan does make his return tonight, it would add yet another target for quarterback C.J. Carr on an offense stacked with weapons like Eli Reardon, Ty Washington, the dynamic duo on the ground. Of course, we're talking about running back Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love. And we've got so much more X's and O's to come up here on ABC 57 Kickoff. But first, take a look at what our resident painter, we're calling her that now, Kathleen Kiefer, is doing live on our set right now. Kathleen's grandfather played in the first ever Notre Dame USC game back in 1926, and she is creating a masterpiece live on the set. Here as Kickoff continues live from Purcell Pavilion on this Saturday. Welcome back to ABC 57 Kickoff. I have known my friend Kathleen Kiefer here for about a decade. And Kathleen, thanks so much for joining us today. You are a masterful painter.
It's my pleasure to be here, and really, Vahid, this is the only thing I know how to do, so I'm happy to be here doing it.
She has an eye like you've never seen before. Now, your grandfather played on the 1926 USC Notre Dame. He played in that game. He played for Newt Rockne.
Yep.
He also played in 1924. That was his freshman year with
Yeah.
the Four Horsemen. Just tell me about that history and that lineage and having your grandfather play for Notre Dame.
And he came from Southern California. I mean, so there was still a pipeline even then, Southern California to Notre Dame.
You live 45 minutes from the stadium.
From USC, yes.
And your daughter went to USC film school, so you have a connection. You were telling me last night you would do anything for your children. We would do anything for our children.
Fight on for Emily.
Including sending them to USC, but being so close to USC, having this tradition, having this rivalry. What does the rivalry mean to you, and how important is it to keep it alive?
Oh, okay, so I live in a town called Manhattan Beach, and every single house, I think, is flying a USC flag. So you really feel outnumbered when you're there. But, I mean, because my grandfather was part of that night's freshman in 1924, I've been hearing about that train trip across the country. That really, I mean, one of those things that put Notre Dame on the map. I mean, it's so fundamental to our history.
Yeah. Tell us about the inspiration behind your paint. You draw a lot of Notre Dame.
Yes.
You draw a lot of Notre Dame, and you can find her game weeks at
the Embassy Suites.
Across the way, Thursday through Sundays, right?
It's open 24/7 the entire football season. But I'm there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So right now you're drawing a picture. So you go off this picture right here on the screen, and we'll tell you the inspiration behind the picture a little later on in the show.
Yeah, it's kind of a heart tugger.
What is your favorite thing to paint on Notre Dame's campus?
Okay, so it's really all about, like, all of you. It's what kind of mood I'm in. Like, if we lose to USC, but I'm not saying we are, I'm going to paint the grotto, okay? So it's like, what's my inspiration? But, I mean, it's like, if I see an exciting play or an exciting, I want to paint that.
Yeah.
So it's like the inspiration's all around me.
All right, we're going to let you get back to work here. We're going to check in with you next hour. So thank you so much for being on the show.
It's such a pleasure.
Go Irish.
Okay, go Irish.
All right, Kathleen Kiefer joining us here on ABC 57 Kickoff. We're going to be right back with so much more. This is ABC 57 Kickoff. I'm Vahid Sadrzadeh. Thanks so much for joining us here on this big, big game day, a day that Irish fans have waited all year for. USC Trojan fans have waited all year for. The Irish in their annual no-holds-barred grudge match where the winner walks away with the coveted jeweled shillelagh and, honestly, it's still a chance at a national championship. Tonight marks the 96th and possibly the last meeting between the two teams, at least what's been scheduled. Barring an extension, the 100-year-old tradition and rivalry could come to an end, making tonight a historic moment. We've got the program right here that you probably want to get your hands on. This could be coveted here a few years down the road. And not even the rain can dampen Irish spirits today. Talia Baya standing by with Freeman's Focus. Going into rivalry week, ABC 57's Dante Stanton joins us live. Hoosier fever taking hold. IU jumping to number 3 in the latest college football polls. But starting us off here at 11 o'clock, First Warning Neighborhood Weather Meteorologist Dave Caulfield live on Eddy Street. Now, Dave, I don't have beef with you this morning because we're inside, but maybe those tailgaters in just a few hours, because you said the rain is coming our way.
Yeah, Vahid, as you were saying that about the beef with tailgaters, a few signs nearby here on Eddy Street Commons just blew over because that wind is picking up. So if the rain isn't getting you just yet, that wind has really started to pick up over the last hour or so as that front gets closer. And we have seen rain populate the radar over the last hour close to Michiana, where I actually see a thunderstorm off to the north that will miss us, but there is a chance of a shower making its way into South Bend over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. That's something that we have our eye on. We have new models little data that's just in that's actually moves up our timeline for the heaviest rain. So before it was looking more like 9 o'clock or after for the heaviest rain. Now it's trending a little bit earlier, possibly closer to kickoff by about 7 or 8. That heavy rain could start to arrive from the south, and some stronger thunderstorms possible during the afternoon, likely depending on exactly where these thunderstorms right now go. Do they hang around or do they try and pass through, leaving a lot of sunshine for more storms to form? And also that wind is going to get stronger. It's already picking up here on Eddy Street, outside Eddy Street Commons, and we could see some gusty winds later tonight as well. Vahid?
So the recommendation is to bring ponchos, still bring an umbrella if you're going to tailgate, still bring all the stuff with you tonight, because you're saying the rain will move back in. But that wind, too, Dave, that wind's going to get pretty nasty inside Notre Dame Stadium. It likes to swirl.
Yeah, and that's a good point. During the game, that rain is going to likely get heavier throughout the contest, and that wind could start to pick up as well. And right now, I'm telling you, over the last 5 minutes, that wind has become noticeably stronger as those thunderstorms are close to us. And what happens is when storms start to form, that rain goes down to the ground, and it actually creates those stronger winds as the wind can't go through the ground, so it has to go somewhere, goes out from those storms, and that outflow, as we call it, can sometimes really kick up the wind, especially in a stadium setting like you mentioned, Vahid. That wind could be a huge factor in the game, if not the rain as well. Live outside Eddy Street Commons, meteorologist Dave Caulfield for ABC57 Kickoff.
All right, thanks so much, Dave. With 4 straight wins at their back, the Irish have built the Big M, momentum. They're cleaning up mistakes, but the most important game is always the next one, right? And the blue and gold aren't taking their eyes off the prize. It's win or go home for both teams. ABC 57 kickoff reporter Talia Baya joins us live now with how head coach Marcus Freeman is staying focused this week. Talia, what does he have his eyes on?
Hey, Vahid. Yes, one thing Marcus Freeman emphasized all week was focus, focus, and focus. He wants his team locked in from the very first snap, and he also wants to convert those 4th and 1s and 4th and 2s, because when you're playing a top scorer like USC, those slow starts and missed chances won't cut it. Short yardage execution, one of Freeman's biggest points of emphasis this week.
We got to have a better plan offensively. In those short yard situations. We've got to be better in short yardage. We got to convert when it's a 4th and 1, 4th and 2 situation.
Last week, the Irish were stopped twice inside the 10, on a 4th and 1 and again on a 4th and 3, finishing just 5 of 8 in the red zone that night.
I don't want to lose confidence in going for it on 4th down. That's something I believe in.
Over the past month, the Irish have converted only 3 of 12 true 4th down attempts, and their red zone scoring rate has dropped to about 82%, ranking them outside the top 75 nationally.
Like, we got to have a really good plan and know, kind of think how they're going to try to attack us too.
Another focus, preventing slow starts. Against Miami, the Irish were shut out in the first quarter. Versus Boise State, it was 14-7 at the break. Then, even in that big win over NC State, the score was only 10-7 at halftime.
We have to clean up those penalties that beat Notre Dame.
Well, the good news, once they make those halftime adjustments, Notre Dame's outscoring opponents 65-7 in the second half of their last 3 games.
You focus in the week, you focus on the moment. Right? In the game, you focus on the moment. That's the mindset you got to have.
This game will be a big test for both areas, with USC ranked in the top 3 in total scoring and passing yards.
So, obviously, Boise State, NC State last week, but the big thing for Marcus Freeman this week was short yardage situations. Talia, you talked to Marcus Freeman on Thursday. You talked to him on Monday. What is he saying about what they're doing to make sure that they're focused against USC?
Well, when he was asked about it, he actually said in order to stop the slow starts that they're going to need to be present. That's what he kept saying. Present is what's going to be key. And he also said that the short yardage is going to kill momentum, and they can't be having that because it will give USC the upper hand in the field position. and that's just, they can't have that slow start.
Yeah, I mean, like if you take a look at the last couple of weeks, slow starts have been the problem, and you're on the cusp of NC State going up 14-6 or 14-7. Boise State almost went up 14-6. So when you look at this slow start, possibly against USC, the weather's going to be nasty. You're going to rely on the ground game. You know, USC's defense wants to play a physical game this week. Marcus Freeman is concerned about that this week.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the weather, he said, isn't going to be a big factor to them, though. He said he's used to it, and they're going to use the run game as much as they can. And we'll see if we can see from the air, but I'm not expecting much. What do you think? Is it going to be balanced or more of a run game?
I think it's going to be run heavy, but I think you're going to see it very much dependent on how Notre Dame's defense is playing to start this game. Because remember, the stat of the week, other than Notre Dame is 10-0 in their last 10, when USC is playing in rain games against the Irish. I think the other big stat of the week is Maeva, who is the quarterback at USC, has not played in the rain. What are y'all doing over there at USC?
Hey, it's the Sunshine State, you know, like, they're not experienced with rain. I think that's actually a crazy stat. I didn't even know that. I just learned that today. Yeah. So we'll see if they can take it on in the rain. 10-0, can't beat that stat. Maybe they can make it 11-0.
Make it 11-0. What's coming up here on ABC57 Kickoff? Hoosiers are big time this year, ranked third in the country. We asked the experts about the fourth and shorts, third and shorts coming up here in just a little bit on ABC57 Kickoff, and a special story we've been working on this week. One golden wish. Mark Wazorek's dreams come true this week at Notre Dame Stadium. It's a huge week for Notre Dame with USC in prime time tonight. But another Indiana team likely finished their toughest test of the season. The Indiana Hoosiers are coming off a historic 30-20 win over Oregon in Eugene last Saturday, and the Hoosier hysteria is only bigger this week when IU secured their future with a massive 8-year extension for their superstar head coach, Curt Cignetti. ABC57's Dante Stanton is live on the campus of IU South Bend right now after catching up with Hoosier fans after the building momentum. Dante, how are Hoosier fans holding up this week?
Well, Veed, I can tell you that those Hoosiers fans are as thrilled as can be about this contract extension. Cignetti's been the lifeblood of this IU team ever since he took over less than 2 years ago, and this extension makes sure that that's the case for the next generation of IU football as well. Now, fans of the Hoosiers here in Michiana lead kind of a tough life. They're trying to bring the Hoosier hype in the heart of Notre Dame country. Students at IU South Bend, never daunted through the bad times,
especially the last 15 years, they've been very rough,
and the good.
It felt amazing just because everybody was saying IU was going to lose, Oregon was going to blow us out, all that, like everyone hating on it, and then we pulled out the win.
An 11-win season in 2024, a 6-0 start to 2025, and a third-place ranking following a top-5 road win over the Oregon Ducks. How did the Hoosiers do it?
I think it's mainly because of their new coach, Curt Cignetti.
Grant Myers, a sophomore at IUSB, isn't the only one who recognizes Cignetti's impact.
The energy and the atmosphere alone as a fan has just been a lot more positive than recent years, and I think a lot of that is credited due to Curt Cignetti coming to the team.
Cignetti rewarded for his one-year turnaround earlier this week with an 8-year contract worth more than $11.5 million a season. With the 64-year-old locked in through 2033, Hoosier hysteria has never been louder. What's more impressive, all of these fans persist while surrounded by the echoes of the Irish.
I'm not biased to Notre Dame like most of these guys are, so for me, IU's the team I'm going to root for no matter what. So yeah, being out here though, you're going to have a lot of people, really, you're an IU fan, we're Notre Dame area.
Others, like Niles resident Dylan Diamond, have a tougher internal battle.
I've been a Hoosier fan my whole life. I've lived in a divided house that was Notre Dame and IU.
Since the two teams rarely meet, it was almost never an issue. Until last year. Now, Diamond thinks the 2025 Hoosiers would craft a different ending.
We still have that, bad taste in our mouth from last season being eliminated, round one. I think this year, I think we would take them.
SIG fans aren't blowing smoke. IU is more confident this season than ever that the Hoosiers will end up on top.
Oh, we're taking it all the way. Without a doubt in my mind, we're taking it.
To be frank, IU just looks that level better than Notre Dame this year. I think Notre Dame kind of fell off a little bit. I mean, to be frank, they lost the 2 games that really mattered at the beginning of the year. So, to be frank, I don't even know if we'll see Notre Dame in the playoffs.
Plenty of strong opinions there. Notre Dame is going to go into its toughest remaining test of the season tonight, the battle for the Jeweled Shillelagh in primetime against USC. But IU, they've pretty much already run the gauntlet for the rest of the season. They already beat then top 10 ranked Illinois. They've gotten past Iowa. They beat Oregon last week, and that was when they were the number 3 team in the country. Now IU is number 3, and Miami lost last night 24-21 to Louisville. So as long as the Hoosiers hold on this week, you can expect them to go up to at least 2nd in the country. Big moves right now for the Hoosiers, and of course signing Cignetti helps them out a lot. Really their only final test of the season is a still shaky at best Penn State team that's really without a true head coach right now. Reporting live from the campus of IU South Bend, Dante Stanton, ABC57 News.
Staying in the state of Indiana, just up the road in Indianapolis. How about that viral moment from last Saturday's Colts game? The Arizona Cardinals had just scored a touchdown right before the cheer captain got the surprise of her life, re-energizing the crowd and helping lead the Colts to victory. Now you're going to hear directly, only on ABC57, from that happy couple in an interview done by ABC57's Annie Kate. Check it out.
I opened social media this week to see this adorable video, and immediately I was like, wait, I know her. That's cheerleading captain Mika Takahashi, and we happen to go to the same middle school in Akron, Ohio. Of course, I reached out for an interview, and only on ABC57 Kickoff, here's the story of this picture-perfect proposal.
And I remember I finished the routine, I, stuck the landing, and my coach was like beaming at me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I just danced so well. Like I must have done such a good job. She looked so happy. And then someone said like, Mika, turn around. And I turned and he was there like on one knee. Tears immediately started flowing. I had no idea that was going to happen.
Here's the moment Mika Takahashi got the surprise of her life in front of tens of thousands of fans at Lucas Oil Stadium.
This is my 4th season with the Colts and my first year as a captain. I've been a dancer my entire life.
This NFL gig bringing her to the Hoosier State, where she met Spencer Phillips.
Yes, we actually met on a dating app. We met on Hinge.
I got to talk to the happy couple, and they tell me it didn't take long for them to realize this is forever.
You look over, you see Spencer. Was there any question in your mind what your answer was going to be?
Never any question.
But how did he pull it off?
The planning actually goes back to April and May.
Phillips coordinated everything with the Colts marketing team.
There wasn't a lot of convincing. The Colts organization and her team love Mika. So when I asked, it was almost an instant yes. Like, how can we do this?
Just like in football and cheerleading, this proposal was a team effort.
The jersey with the "Marry Me" on the back of it actually wasn't my idea originally. It was one of her teammates. And that just shows how involved they were.
An instant yes, solidifying their lifelong love and lifelong Colts fandom.
And the Colts ended up winning, which we can't say necessarily is because of the proposal, but I do think that the energy that we ignited in the fans was helpful.
The Colts are currently 5-1 and hoping for a playoff run this year. For ABC 57 News, I'm Annie Kate.
Back here on ABC 57 Kickoff with our legend today. 2005 to 2009, he played the back end of that Notre Dame defense. Mr. Ray Herring II, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I love seeing you all the time.
Yeah, all the time, man. All the time on the sidelines, up in the booth. So take us back. You played from 2005 to 2009. You played in that famous Bush push game. We were talking off air here. You had to scout one of the hardest guys in the world to scout, which was Reggie Bush. Take us back to that game. You guys said you grew the grass 6 inches.
Yeah, so the grass was 6 inches high because we figured that Reggie was pretty fast. And that was my freshman year, transitioning from high school to college. So you talk about the shift of the speed of the game changed dramatically. But, you know, we had a scouting report that said this number 5's coming in. He got this quarterback named Matt Leinart. Got this wide receiver named Dwayne Jarrett. Watched the little film. Was like, it's going to be a good day here.
It's going to be a tough day.
Yeah.
And you guys were, I mean, obviously right up until, you know, they did the infamous Bush push now, which is legal now.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it back then. But take us back to, you know, you said you were a freshman in 2005. What led to the decision? You're from Florida originally. What led to the decision to come to Notre Dame?
So my life's a little interesting. My dad was actually paralyzed playing football his junior year in high school, which is actually 1977, which the 1977 national championships were Notre Dame, right?
Right.
So that year he got paralyzed, and then, you know, so the dream of playing at Notre Dame, for him, that's what he always wanted to do, kind of ended. He wasn't supposed to have any kids or anything, right? And then all of a sudden, one day the doctor says, hey, I think you could do this thing. So long story short, I'm that kid that made it to Notre Dame that could play there. So the decision of going to Notre Dame was bigger for me, not just attending a high academic school or being able to play at the highest level, but it was something to do for my dad as well.
And I'm sure they were proud when you took the field in 2005 all the way up to your career in 2009. They may end the rivalry after this year. Now they're still in talks about it. But what does it mean to the university to continue this rivalry? What did it mean to the players?
Definitely circled on the schedule, something that we look forward to, an appreciation for the tradition that it has with all the great players on both sides, not just Notre Dame, but USC as well. You know, when you face them, you're going to get their best. It's going to always be a very competitive game, and just two programs that are just storied that you just have to have playing each other. You cannot stop them playing, right? I don't want to talk about the other program that stopped playing us, and we had to wait like 13 years, you know.
Michigan.
Yeah,
right.
But so let's continue to keep this rivalry because it's just important for college football.
Quickly take us into the back end of that defense. So, you know, USC, are you playing man-to-man this year? Are you playing zone? What are you playing? Take us into the head of Marcus Freeman. The back end of that defense was a little weak to start the season, giving up 40-plus against Texas A&M. They've shorted up just a little bit. It's the bend, don't break mentality.
Well, one great thing I love about our staff is we have some of the best defensive coaches in the country. That's why when the first two games happened, I'm like, guys, relax. We have Marcus Freeman. We have Coach Mickens, top secondary coach, and we have Chris Ash that's been doing this for a very long time. We're going to be okay, right? So as we've seen in the last couple of games, everything has been worked out. The defense is going. We have a great balance of being aggressive, but also being able to balance the zone defense in there as well. So we're completely fine. I think everybody's going to realize that we're good, and obviously the offense has cranked it up another notch. So,
C.J. Carr, when you have that on the offensive side, and Jeremiah Love and C.J. Carr, RELAX, relax is what you're saying. Man. So Notre Dame, do they make it back to the college football playoff?
If you ask me, yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, it's very hard to win in college football, so you got to take one game at a time. But I strongly believe in our staff and our players and our administration. Everything's in line to do what we're supposed to do.
You were always welcome back, my friend. Ray Herring.
Hey, I want to say one thing. He has these gold shoes on, and I really want these. So make sure he gets them to me.
I'll let you borrow them for the game tonight. We're going to be right back here on ABC 57 Kickoff. Ray, thanks so much.
All right.
If you had one wish, what would it be? For one lifelong Notre Dame fan and South Bend native, there was only one answer. A wish he never thought possible. A day, years in the making. For Mark Wazorek, Our Ladies University was calling him home one more time.
Smile. You look lovely.
On the side it says, play like a champion today.
Aw, yay.
Let's pass it around, yeah.
God will never place anything on you you can't handle.
He was having difficulties seeing like the lights, red, green, yellow, and coordination was getting a little off, but he was still working and functioning.
At the age of 22, South Bend native Mark Wazorak was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. MS, as it's widely known, is an autoimmune disease that affects the central nervous system. As of 2025, there is no cure.
But he didn't give up. He rode a bicycle to his job back and forth.
That's his bike. He rode that thing. He bought that tire. That tire's still good.
When he went to IU, then he went to a walker, walking with a walker. He still would take public transportation.
Mark is now 55 years old. He was placed in hospice care in January.
All right, Mark, I've been driving all my life for this moment right here.
But on this perfect October day, the stars aligned.
I love when things come together. Isn't it exciting? Mark is like smiling.
Mark's eyes firmly gazed on Notre Dame Stadium. It's been 33 years since he last attended a Notre Dame game, since his last glimpse of Touchdown Jesus, since his last chance to cheer on the Irish.
I'm Catholic. My whole life.
At the centerpiece of Mark's life has been faith and football. Even though his body failed him long ago, his spirit and positive attitude for life still guides him. For nearly a decade, he had the opportunity to be the sports editor in the Holy Cross monthly newsletter.
I call it sports bits. I'm Notre Dame, I'm Cubs, I'm on pro football, hockey, all of it. I just can't do it no more. I don't talk real clear. I got voice activated in the software on my computer, but I can't do it no more.
We're at our beloved Notre Dame Stadium to see our boys play. Have the best day, man.
On this perfect October day at Notre Dame Stadium, the intersection of sports and faith.
The more I got to know him, I thought to myself, well, why can't we do something special for him? If he loves games or sports so much and we have the ability to do last wishes, I wanted to do that.
With the help of the Heart to Heart Foundation and Michelle Lentner Maxwell, the dream of once again visiting these hallowed grounds was about to become reality.
Everybody on the team was completely on board, so once I got like the preliminary, yes, this is doable, I talked to Mark, and then we submitted the grant.
What was his reaction when you told him about the...
Oh, he... I'll do the censored one, but he's like, oh, great.
The censored one?
Yeah.
There's an uncensored version?
He was very excited.
I can't believe I'm able to go.
Good luck on moving.
We got it. We got it. We got it.
His one golden wish was here. A slap on the Play Like a Champion Today sign. Taking in the statue of the late Ara Parseghian. A stroll to the Rockney Gate. And a photo opportunity with the bagpipes.
We say go Irish! Go Irish! The University of Notre Dame Marching Band!
And taking in the sounds of the legendary Victory March. Tell me about what your perfect day at Notre Dame Stadium would be.
My goodness.
He's looking forward to the Guinness.
Oh, the Guinness?
Yeah.
Yes. It can't rain and they win.
1, and then swipe. 2, 3, 4.
That's it?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're good.
On this perfect day, Mark's golden wish of a sunny afternoon and a Notre Dame win came true.
It's finally starting to feel like fall here in South Bend.
He's back to throw. He's back to throw. Shotgun. He hands off to Love. Clap, clap. Sets back.
what's the final score of Saturday's game?
32-7.
32-7 over NC State.
Yeah.
Fighting through multiple sclerosis, years of isolation, and physical pain. Mark's joy for life and positive attitude unwavered.
It was a great day. I agree.
But he's never depressed, always happy, doesn't let nothing get him down, always positive.
What do you think is the driving force behind your positivity, Mark?
I know I'm alive. I could have been dead a lot of times. I am further than I made it. And I have. That's probably my biggest driving force. And I made it through the slog. God will never place anything on you you can't handle.
If you'd like to make a donation to the Heart to Heart Hospice Foundation, you can head to the link on your screen right now. We'll also have that posted and available on our website at ABC57.com. We'll have so much more coming up on ABC 57 Kickoff right after the break.
Fighting Irish, now on a 4-game win streak, got fans excited, especially with the defense shutting out their opponent after halftime in the last 3 outings. My favorite moment, this Don Schuler interception. Now just wait for that celebration. I say, hang that in the Louvre. However, fans were still not happy with those ref calls, getting showered in boos exiting the field, like last game. My take, that was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. That should have 100% been an incomplete pass. I have no idea what's going on with the refs in the Notre Dame games lately. Now, with this performance comes light shining bright on CJ Carr, putting up Heisman Trophy contending numbers. However, not making many lists. My take is just look at these stats and look at this throw. Now, the debate of USC and Notre Dame being the best rivalry in college football, well, growing up a Trojan fan, you already know my answer. I would say this is one of the biggest rivalries in college football. There's just so many good games. First of all, I was there in 2005 when USC was #1, Notre Dame was 9, and they beat them by 3 points, 34-31 on the 1-yard line. This game is going to be huge, and if you just look in the past, I would say every single game is memorable in some way.
Bailey stands in the shotgun with 5 receivers, 3 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Claps for the football and takes the snap on 2nd and 5. Looking left, now looking right. He's in trouble, and he goes down. Boubacar Traore sacks him back to the 14-yard line.
Tony Simeone on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish Radio Network. Boubacar Traore having a huge game last week, taking out CJ Bailey, first drive of the game. And we're joined now by the Ask the Experts. They are the experts. Tyler Horka, Jack Sobel from Blue and Gold Illustrated. Thanks so much, guys, for being on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having us on.
All right, so we're going to talk first. We're going to talk about I want to have a little roundtable discussion. Let's talk about Boubacar Traore. Let's talk about the front end of that Notre Dame defense. The question, true or false, does Notre Dame's front end of the defense get more than 3 sacks against USC today, and why or why not?
That's a tough number. I think I would settle right on that over-under of 3. I mean, they've sacked C.J. Bailey 4 times last week, so you would take the over there. But Jaden Mayava is a very savvy quarterback for USC. He gets out of pressure. USC's offensive line had a couple injuries, but they've been playing probably exceeding expectations. So I would settle right on 3. If Notre Dame gets to 3 sacks, I think that's probably a good number, and they've done enough to pressure Mayava in this game.
Well, you're right that Mayava gets the ball out quick. Like, I forget what the exact number is, but it's some of the lowest time to throw in the nation with USC. He's getting the ball out quick. He's got a ton of weapons to throw to. Mekhi Lemon, obviously, first and foremost. And you're right, they got some injuries up front. The left tackle, Elijah Page, we're not sure whether he's going to play. He's missed the last 2 games. He's obviously a huge piece of their offensive line. That's going to be huge because Boubacar Traore is going to be rushing hard, and he's having a great couple games, man. He is right on the edge of elite. He's playing great against the run. He is getting the sacks, but he's not quite impacting the game on every snap like the top-end edge rushers are, but he's going to get there soon, and I think it's going to be soon.
Talia, what do you think? 3 sacks, over, under?
I'm thinking over, and I'm thinking 2 from Boubacar Traore. I love saying his name. I mean, he's leading the team with 5.5 this year. I mean, he is that defensive lineman. And I say 2 from Jalen Sneed. This is a crazy take. I know the experts aren't going to like it. It's a hot take, but that's what I got.
She had some hot takes this week, too, in your Talia's take. Let's flip to the other side of the ball and see Jay Carr. Take a look.
Irish in the red zone. Carr along the near hash, takes the snap. Looks, throws, Pauling catches at the 2 for the goal line. He's in! Touchdown, Notre Dame! Will Pauling is back in the end zone.
My Badgers are having an awful season, but I'm really glad that Will Pauling decided to make the switch to come to Notre Dame. This dude is the dude of all guys. Just the X factor, I think, for the Notre Dame offense this season. What do you think of Will Pauling? I mean, is he a difference maker that the Irish need to win a national championship?
We saw last week Notre Dame came out and threw to him twice right away. They get into the end zone on that first possession. Jeremiah Love gets the touchdown, but Notre Dame doesn't get down there without Will Pauling. So he's in the game plan. Obviously, the Jaden Greathouse injury, probably don't expect him to play again today with that hamstring injury. So Will Pauling is that starter in the slot. And like you said, at Wisconsin, he was their guy. He was their number 1 wide receiver a couple seasons ago, over 800 receiving yards. Yeah. He's been there, done that, and I think he's proven himself at Notre Dame. So he didn't have to prove himself to anybody. He earns team captaincy as a wide receiver transfer. That doesn't happen. Usually if you're a transfer, you got to be a quarterback to be named a team captain, but he's a wide receiver. Teammates love him. CJ Carr loves him. There's just something about him when he's out there. The football finds him, and I think the football finds him again tonight.
If Jaden Greathouse does come back tonight, do they still go to Will Pauling? I mean, do they kind of replace Greathouse with Pauling?
Not replace. They would both still play. Again, I wouldn't count on Greathouse tonight. They would both still play. I don't know who would go out first, but they'd been alternating drives before. I think that would continue. Regarding Pauling, first of all, Vahid, I'm going to start using dude of all guys. Am I writing that? that was
dude of all guys.
That's got to make the magazine.
That's got to make the magazine this weekend. But with Pauling, he's just got a knack for finding that open space, right? You see him pop wide open in zone coverage all the time. He's just got a great feel for the game, right? He knows how to find those gaps in zone coverage. That's going to be huge against USC.
Well, I know Will Pauling, a big target, but give me Eli Reardon as a game changer. He's a 6'7" tight end. He's physical. He's a senior. He's got experience. I'm expecting not a huge game, once again, because the weather. It's going to be a strong run game, but a big game from him again.
All right, let's flip back to the defensive side of the ball, where the back end of the defense now is taking center stage.
On 4th and 11, Bailey takes the snap. He drops, throws underneath, and it's intercepted. Taken away by Adon Schuler. Needs a block. Here he comes down the near sideline. Cuts inside of the 40. Still on his feet at the 30. He's inside the 20. Oh, what a play by the captain. Adon Schuler with a pick and returns it all the way down to the 17-yard line.
Another dude of all guys, Adon Schuler, getting an interception last week, really disruptive, the back end of this defense. We noticed a big shift when number 15 came back into the lineup a couple weeks ago. Jack, let's start with you. I mean, how well are they playing, comparatively speaking, to last season now?
They're playing almost as well as they were last season with Leonard Moore back. The big injury that we're watching for this week, Devontae Smith, the starting nickelback, that's going to be huge against a team with a slot receiver in Mekhi Lemon, who is leading the Power 4 in receiving yards. He's a monster in a lot of different ways. You're going to have to put Leonard Moore on him at some points. I don't think you can the entire game because, like Marcus Freeman said on Monday, he's so valuable taking away half the field at that boundary cornerback spot. But on third downs and in the red zone, I think you got to feature Leonard Moore on Mekhi Lemon at some points. Mekhi's only like 5'10", 5'11", but he plays bigger than that he can make contested catches in the end zone. That's why I need Leonard Moore's length on him.
Okay.
I think that this, you mentioned the Don Schuler at the top of all this. If you go back to the Purdue game, remember he missed the first half of that game because of a targeting in the previous game. Since then, that's kind of been the starting point for the resurgence of this Notre Dame defense because Purdue put up 23 points in that first half. I think everybody in this stadium was thinking, oh my gosh, this is what the Notre Dame defense is this season. Schuler comes in, stabilizes things. Purdue only gets a touchdown in that second half. And Notre Dame has found its combination of safeties in a Don Schuler and Tay Johnson. Jalen Stroman has played less, and it's actually benefited him as well. You see him make that sack last week. That was a big point in that ball game as well. So I think Chris Ash has kind of figured out what strings to pull in the Notre Dame secondary and what guys to put out there, and it's working for him right now.
I know Leonard Moore is a kind of the glue of this defense. I'm going to have a hot take of my own. I think Adon Schuler this year is that glue.
Ooh,
I think the past 2 seasons, he's had a monster start to his Notre Dame career, and I think how Adon Schuler goes is how the back end of this Notre Dame defense goes.
Yeah, I think the defense is looking good, but this is a huge test. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I mean, the last 3 games haven't been ranked opponents. This is USC, ranked 20th, and I think a big guy this game is Drake Bowen. I mean, he is so fun to watch. He's leading in tackles. He is so emotional out there, and all week he's been saying one word: playing with violence. Violence.
All right, playing with violence is what Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price do. Let's flip to the backfield.
All spotted between the hashes. It's 3rd and goal from the 2. Irish moving right to left. Pistol set again with Love as the back. Carr takes the snap, gives it to Love, puts his head down for the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Jeremiah Love opens it up.
All right, you have 2 of the best running backs in the nation. I'm going to call them the 2 best running backs in the country. Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love. You have 2 guys. You have one of the best offensive lines in the country. Why can't the Irish get it done on 3rd and short and 4th and short?
Do you want to start with this? Because I don't have a very good answer.
The best answer is that their offensive line hasn't been playing like one of the best offensive lines in the country on 3rd and 4th and short. Like, you can call whatever you want. If your offensive line is getting pushed back and missing assignments, like, it's not going to work running the ball, passing the ball. Against NC State, they tried passing the ball a couple times. NC State was on that, though. They had great calls on for what Notre Dame had going. They didn't know it was coming, but they guessed correctly. So it's a combination of blocking, play calling. I wouldn't blame the backs because you can't do much when you don't have room in short yardage. The bottom line is you got to block better.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's become a little mental, I think. That's what I observed from the press box.
Mental.
Like, go back to the Miami game, and that's where Notre Dame implemented the Wildcat for the first time, and everyone was...
That's not a hot take. Get rid of the Wildcat. It was hot in 2008.
It just hasn't worked. And, like, when you plant that seed, all of a sudden the offensive line starts talking about, okay, why are we doing this? Why can't we just call a conventional running play, traditionally attack the defense? And
have a fullback up there.
Go up the gut with the running backs that you mentioned, 2 of the best, if not the very best in the country. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. I don't think it's all cohesive and moving in one direction for Notre Dame when it gets down to those short yardage situations. So I think Mike Denbrock keeps it simple, stupid, and just kind of runs the football and says, hey, let's run behind these big heavies, and these are 2 of the best running backs in the country, and just get a yard or 2. That's all you have to do. Get a yard or 2.
Well, now I know why this segment is called Ask the Experts, because you guys just answered exactly what I was wondering. What is going on with that short yardage? And I agree. They need to be tougher on the line, and then you need to play simple. I think, like, no trick plays, run the ball. Yeah, no wildcat. And if they do that, I think they'll be pretty good.
I think they're, like, fooling themselves a little bit. It's just like...
It's in their heads.
I like that. It's kind of mental at this point.
All right, we're going to be right back with these Ask the Experts, and experts they are, the dudes of all guys. We're going to be right back here on ABC57 Kickoff. Our Ask the Expert segment continues, plus we give out the GOAT trophy this week, and we make our final selections. Stay with us.
Welcome back to ABC57 Kickoff. And, you know, they say if you don't like the weather here in Michiana, just wait 5 minutes. That is literally what we experienced over the past 35 minutes since we last spoke to you. It was sunny, it was windy, it was briefly pouring. Now it's back to being sunny and nice like nothing ever happened. The ground is dried out here near Eddy Street Commons as well. Unfortunately, as we move closer to game time, our rain chances go up, and not just rain, heavy rain potentially, and windy conditions possible as we move into the game time forecast. Tonight, our rain chances are going up, and the latest trends actually have that heavy rain arriving a little earlier than they were in previous forecasts. So by the time we get to maybe the second quarter, potentially by halftime into the second half, that heavy rain and lightning threat will be real. Hopefully we don't see another delay, but it is possible. We'll keep you posted throughout the day on ABC57 News and ABC57.com. Live outside Eddy Street Commons, meteorologist Dave Caulfield for ABC57 Kickoff.
And it's beautiful in here, and thank goodness, because we have this masterpiece by Kathleen Kiefer. Thanks so much for being here, Kathleen. And kind of an homage to our story earlier today, Mark Wazorak, who went to his final Notre Dame game in his last. Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being here. Your final score is? I love it. Thanks so much. Go Irish. All right, let's go back over to our set here with our dude of all dudes, Antalya Baya, as well. We're going to do some X Factors first. Guys, Antalya, who do you have today? We're going to start with, well, I forgot something. Hold on. I forgot something. Before we get there, think about your X Factors. Okay. Our Go to the Week. Almost forgot about the most important thing of the week. Dave, come back on here. Of course, we give it to somebody, part of our set, who is just a difference maker, and we just appreciate everybody who has really helped us get this show together for the last 10 years, and so we're honoring one of the members of our staff. And last week, Dave, you were the GOAT, and you almost picked the final score correctly.
I took it shopping. I did. Who does a safety in the rings? And I'll probably go 31-21 if you ask me what my score is. But we're going to give it to somebody that runs around here as much as anybody else, trying to get us organized and everything, and he makes for a good lineman for a couple of weeks ago. We're going to go with Ryan Hendricks.
Yay, Ryan!
Yay!
Yeah, Ryan, you had the hardest job of all, taking on Chris Zorich on the offensive line a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, and he can still play, too.
He is. So who is your X Factor this week?
I'm taking Kingston Biliamu Asa tonight. 6 tackles against NC State and got his first interception of the year. He's been turning it up as of recent, and I think he's going to make that Notre Dame Irish defense go.
That's an insider pick right there. You have another insider you want to bring onto the show this morning.
Yes, my mother. Come on, Mom.
All right, so Talya's mom, as you can see, big USC fan, lived in Southern California for a long time. Who's your X Factor this week?
So my X Factor is going to be King Miller. He had a great game with Michigan, so that's what I got.
All right.
I like it.
Who's your X Factor?
My X Factor, I love saying his name, Boubacar Traore. He's leading in sacks. He's just that big guy. He's the best.
Tyler?
I've got Donovan Hines. He lives for rivalry games like this, bleeds blue and gold. He steps up tonight.
Jack?
Joe Otting, Notre Dame starting center tonight. Like Tyler said, run the ball up the middle on third and short. It's going to be a lot tougher without Ashton Craig in there. He was having a fantastic season. Now he's out for the year. Joe Otting's got to step up.
Jadarian Price, 3 touchdowns today against USC in the sloppy conditions. Give me JDP. Final score predictions. Jack, we'll start with you.
I got Notre Dame 42, USC 31. This is a good USC team. I don't know if they can do it on the road. They haven't done it on the road yet. I like Notre Dame by 10. It wouldn't surprise me if the game was closer, though.
Same old USC. They come into this game with all this
soft.
hype. They're a little softer than meets the eye. I've got Notre Dame 45, USC 28. USC's going to put up some points. Notre Dame's going to put up more.
All right, Juliet?
I have USC at 27, Notre Dame at 25. I think the rain's going to slow down the scoring, so that's what I think. My Trojans for the win.
I'm going to actually flip that, and I have Notre Dame at 27-25, and that wasn't planned. We literally said the same score prediction when I texted her, and I already submitted it to our producer. But, Mom, since I'm the favorite child, how about we get you to root for Notre Dame?
Hey, let's go!
Come on. What?
Oh, no! Somebody get her off the set. No!
It's my beloved Trojans all the way.
All right. She's sticking tried and true. You got to respect that. You got to respect that. Now, listen, I almost picked USC this week.
Whoa.
I'm a little scared of this one. I think USC is coming in hotter than they have in the past couple of years. If you look at the matchup the past couple of years, at USC especially, USC has kept it close. I think USC is going to keep it close today, but I think the rain ultimately is going to be the deciding factor. It's going to be nasty. Notre Dame is 10-0 in their last 10 in the rain against USC, and Maeva has never played in the rain.
Look at these rain stats.
Hey, that's right, baby. That's right. Meteorologist, I'm coming for you. 37-34, the final score. Ryan, in favor of Notre Dame. Ryan, who you got?
I got Notre Dame 31-24. I think it's going to be close early, but I think C.J. Carr and the boys pull it away late.
Awesome.
I like that.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. Honestly, it's a huge game, a rivalry that I think needs to continue, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It would be a shame if this is the last one that we see for a while. This is what college football is all about.
I get USC doesn't want to travel, but they did that to themselves by blowing up the regional conference. This rivalry should continue.
The GOAT of the week, Ryan Hendricks. Thanks so much for joining us, man. You're an App State guy, by the way.
Yes, sir.
So you hate every team that hates Michigan, so that's great. I like it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Juliet. Thank you so much for. We'll get you in a Notre Dame sweatshirt before the day is done. I promise you. Talia Abaya, Tyler Horka, Jack Sobel, Vahid Sadrzadeh, live from the campus of Notre Dame. It's USC. It's Notre Dame under the lights at 7:30. Of course, we'll have all the post-game reaction for you and highlights after the game is done. Enjoy the game. Go Irish. We'll see you next week.